Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special treat here today in the studio with Alliday Mobile Media. We've talked about this for a long time. We have Jack Young with us from Tahoe CBD. And in full disclosure, Jack and I go back a little ways. We met in the property preservation industry. And what's a very kind way to say the well went dry in that industry, and we both went we both decided to go different directions. I got into the agriculture business, and you did kind of sorta. You're in CBD now. How did you get into the CBD industry?
Well, Aaron, it's kind of a long story, but initially, when I first introduced to CBD back in 2012, I was involved with the vaping industry. I got into the vaping industry because I wanted to get adults off of cigarette smoking and bring them down to not be smoking anymore. And during that time, I had met a company out of Southern California that was getting into CBD as a vaping product. And I looked at CBD back there and I thought, wow, that's kind of like something I would like to get into. So I started reading more and more about CBD and the medicinal benefits that CBD had to offer, and understand I was really not happy with the way the vaping industry was going, only because, I had to look at myself in the mirror, and I realized the good point of the vaping part of things was adults getting off of cigarette smoking. But what started to happen in the industry that made me not like it so much was young kids, young people were getting into the vaping industry or into the vaping world for different reasons. And initially they were buying products with no nicotine, and then things changed. And once I realized that, yeah, I kid you not,
Yeah,
I started off with all good intentions, but keep in mind this company that introduced me to CBD. But nonetheless, I wasn't happy with the way the industry had turned with the younger folks getting involved with something. I liked it when I was dealing with adults getting off of cigarettes. So I was down in Southern California at one of the places that we did business with, and I saw CBD off and to the side there, and I saw some hats that said CBD. So I was pretty good friends with one of the owners there that we were actually getting products from, and he started to explain CBD to me. And I thought, wow. So I started doing some of my own research, and I thought, you know what? I can put this vaping world to the side. I kind of like what CBD is offering. So I read more and more and more about the possibilities of CBD being an actual medicine for people to treat different things. But then again, back in 2012, CBD was in its infancy stages. Nobody really knew a whole lot about it, but I liked the concept behind what CBD had to offer.
if my research is correct, there's three different types of CBD. There's a broad spectrum, an isolate, and then a full spectrum CBD. Um, can you touch on those a little bit?
Yeah, that's an interesting story. So understand, I'm all the way into this CBD new world to me, and I was always with the idea that I like the idea of using the whole plant as a medicine without, adulterating it or bastardizing it, whatever you want to call it. And then all of a sudden, along comes a product which definitely made me think about things, was a product called Pure Isolate CBD. And
Sounds interesting
that
on the surface.
on the surface, it was very interesting. And let me tell you, Aaron, around 2015, the whole industry came to a crossroads as far as what is better. Full spectrum pure CBD, that's pretty impressive words there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And now we've got a product that is whole plant, utilizing the whole plant, which was called full spectrum CBD. So I didn't really know where to go, but I was always leaning towards using the whole plant for sure. Around 2000, and I stayed the course with full spectrum, even though it was hard not to really give isolate CBD a hard look, which I did.
And
But
now,
I
now
just,
isolate, that's what you're saying is pure CBD?
yes,
Okay.
and the way it's done is there was a process back then. It's changed considerably, but nonetheless, there was a process that literally stripped out all the known associated cannabinoids to the plant, and you only had a pure CBD powder. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and in the back of my mind, I had to keep thinking about where are all these other cannabinoids, and is this really the best? But on paper, it sounds pretty good. So around 2017, a study came out, an actual clinical study with actual trials with real people, and it was done through
Is that the one that was out of Israel?
yes, out of
Okay.
Israel. And what and as you know, Israel is a pretty holistic country,
Yeah.
and they like that sort of thing, which I do too. Anytime that you can use a natural product to cure something or use it as a medicine, I'm all about that as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
it's funny because I've talked about this on GMO Tuesday before. I have a seizure disorder, and people that are following my GMO Tuesday, they know that I use CBD product. It's called
Mhm.
Epidiolex, and
Right. Yep.
it got my
It's
seizure issues under control. So I know it is a viable avenue for medical purposes.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. And just so as you know, it was first. It first came out of Denver from Children's Hospital out of Denver. They were doing some trial studies on that back then. And, they were realizing that Charlotte, a young lady by the name of Charlotte, was having seizure on top of seizure on top of seizure. A group out of, I don't know exactly what part of Colorado, they got this into this young lady, and they started giving her CBD, and CBD took her from the article I believe I read was 300 seizures a week down to practically
Well,
nothing. And
that's
then
what happened to me.
the FDA acknowledged it as a viable medicine, a viable avenue to treating seizures, and
Are
that's how it. Yeah.
are there other? I mean, do you have a lot of different customers around the country? Do any of them purchase CBD products from you for other types of medical ailments?
Well, I want to get back to this topic on Israel that was
Okay.
done through clinical trials. There was a clinical trial. I'm getting back to full spectrum versus pure isolate
Hmm.
CBD, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So, and when this report got published, I read it way back when, and they had clinical trials on people, and the Israeli government wanted to know what is the best product, pure CBD isolate or full spectrum CBD. Long story short, 37-page document came out, and I can recite the final paragraph as if I read it 100 times because I have. They were paying this company that did not have a dog in the fight, a horse in the race, whatever you want to call it, to determine what was the better product. And their final statement in their long report says, full spectrum CBD is a far superior product as compared to isolate CBD in the four following categories: pain, inflammation, sleep, and anxiety. So luckily for me, I stayed the course, and I did go with the full spectrum because it at the time made more sense to me. But don't think for a second I didn't look at that hard. But anyhow, I'm fortunate that I lucked out, and it was lucky.
Yeah.
I was lucky because I was really going both ways. So we've been full spectrum all the way ever since that report came out. And in a lot of other arenas, it's been redocumented as a full spectrum being a superior product as compared to isolate. So luckily for me. But you asked me something earlier about the three different products. I'd like to touch on broad spectrum as well, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
So we know about isolate CBD. On my business card, I put we won't and don't sell isolate CBD. I'm just not an advocate after it's been proven. But there is another product that's called broad spectrum CBD. Now, broad spectrum CBD is for people that can absolutely have zero amount of CBD in their system. Even though we're only talking 0.3% of 1%, some people are truck drivers, they're whatever they do. So the process for broad spectrum, which I think is a much better product than isolate, but let me explain how broad spectrum is created. Some companies, there's certain ways that we get the heavier cannabinoids that are associated with the hemp plant out of there. We happen to use what we call a half pass system. It's almost like a distillery, and we take out the heavier cannabinoids out of the plant. That there's about 6 or 7 of them in there, but understand we're leaving 134 of them in there. But what we do is we extract the heavier cannabinoids out, so we get all the THC out of the product. Then with the half pass system, the cannabinoids that we were able to extract then get re-infused back into the product. Is it the same as a full spectrum CBD? No. But is it a decent product? Yes. So it'll never hold a candle to a full spectrum CBD because we're missing a lot of the cannabinoids associated with the plant. But it's better, in my opinion, it's better than a isolate CBD, Aaron.
One of the issues that people I know take CBD products for is sleep disorders and stuff. One of the issues in there, or I guess it's a cannabinoid, is called CBN. Is that correct?
Yes, and I'm going to tell you how I actually was introduced to CBN. Understand, I can't keep up with this industry. It's a fast-paced industry. So I happened to be, but I'd heard about it, but I hadn't had real documentation. So I kind of follow the science more than I do what I read. And if I do read something on the internet, I want to know who is the author and what's their, motive behind it. So I was working one of our stores up here in South Lake Tahoe, and a couple came in and they were asking me about CBN products, and they were very well versed and they were very knowledgeable people as far as the CBD industry. And I was impressed with one of my customers. Anyhow, the man and the woman came in and I was asking, how do you know so much about CBN? I'm learning about it. And the husband mentioned to me, there's an article out by a pharmacist out of Texas. I said, really? And I said, what can you tell me about it? And the husband went on to say, and the wife, of course, was chiming in because they were really into CBN. The pharmacist said to them when they were in their home state that CBN is probably one of the best products that you can use for sleep because it's a natural sleep sedative. And so while these folks were in the store, I got on my phone naturally, and I found the article from the pharmacist, and he was, of course, he's a pharmacist. He's very well versed. He's a smart guy. So that's what got me going to trying to extract the CBN from our plants from our farm. So I called my brother. My brother pretty much runs the farm up in Oregon. And I said, hey, we need to get on the CBN products. So anyhow, we checked with, we have a valley that we grow in, and a lot of other folks that we are our neighbors, our friends, are growing hemp as well. So we got together with them, figured out how they're extracting it. So now I'm all about CBN. But then again, CBN should be infused. We'll get into the endocannabinoid system later, but it should be infused with full spectrum CBD, because full spectrum CBD, with all the known cannabinoids associated with the plant that work in conjunction and synchronization with one another, work very well on our CB1 and CB2 receptors. So we took it a step further and we extract the CBN, and then we reinfuse it with a full spectrum CBD so that our endocannabinoid system is exposed, and it utilizes the CBN much better.
And when you say the endocannabinoid system, that is within our body?
Yes, I know it's not a play on words, cannabinoids, CBN, or cannabinoid, CBD, this and that. We're all born with an endocannabinoid system within our bodies. Our endocannabinoid system, which I'll get into that a little bit later, is something that essentially works on our nervous system, and it works on our CB1 and CB2 receptors. And I'll get into that a little bit later, exactly what it works on and how CBD is a viable product for a lot of different ailments and medicinal purposes within our own body.
If my math was right with the numbers you said a few minutes ago, there's like 140 cannabinoids in hemp.
No, there's 140 known cannabinoids, and that list keeps growing. And
Wow.
what we're finding out, Aaron, back when I started back in 2012, there were 80 known cannabinoids associated with the hemp plant. Now there's 140 plus known cannabinoids associated with the hemp plant. And to be quite honest with you, and to be quite frank, scientists and people that do these clinical trials and the people that are in the know are finding out that these different cannabinoids associated with this plant have different functions within our body. So it's an ongoing learning process. But yes, when I first started back in 2012, we were aware of 80 known cannabinoids. Then it somehow went to 103, then 112, then 121, and now we're at 140 known cannabinoids that are within the hemp plant. So it's growing and growing, and the scientists and researchers behind it are finding out that each of these different cannabinoids actually have a different function that may or may not help us.
And you guys, I'm looking at your products behind your head there. You have a wide array of products.
Yes.
One of the products I looked at was your topical salves.
Yes.
When I was looking at the ingredients in that, you had to have a brain. It looks like, I mean, every ingredient, you list the ingredient, you list the function of that ingredient, how they all mix together and work together. To me, it sounds like you had a brain trust together to develop that topical salve.
Aaron, it's a funny story behind the topical salve. I want to share it with you. Just bear with me. So I approached my brother, who actually runs the overall production of the farm. It's a family farm. My brother Tom, he's the horticulturist. He's our master grower. My sister Lisa, she runs administrative stuff, but Bill runs the farm operations. So I contact Bill, and I'm down here in South Lake Tahoe. The farm is up in Southern Oregon. So I contact Bill, and I say, hey, Bill, this industry is booming, and there's a lot of topical salves out there, and they all have the same stuff. I mean, I want to get what we have I want a super salve. I want something that's going to set us apart from the rest of the industry. And he said, well, you're in charge of marketing. I'm in charge of the farm. You can do whatever you want with that. I'll keep operations going, and you can fine tune the product however you want, but that's not my job. You're marketing. I'm not. So he said, he says, I know of a doctor up here, and I know of some people. Maybe we could get a little round table discussion going. So I said, that would be great. And I've got a person from Southern California that I would like to bring in on this, because quite honestly, Aaron, that's not my forte. It's not. I'm not a doctor. I'm not I'm a retired X-ray technician. So we got together a group of some people that were pretty bright people, and we had a roundtable discussion. And we had this doctor, we had a registered physical therapist, we had another medical member of the community up there, and I know somebody that's, pretty bright from Southern California. And then we had some of our own people involved creating the salve, but we were more of the onlookers, and we were letting the professionals do what they had to do. And mind you, we started to create this salve, and just because the medical professionals like what they were going to put in the salve, I still have to check with our chemist to make sure that all of our ingredients within this jar are happy with each other.
Yeah.
So we started off this thing, and after day one, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm in over my head. But, we pay people to do their job, right?
Yeah.
I'm not being paid. I'm just being paid to be a part of it, along with some other people that work at the farm. But this doctor we were working with, I'm not going to mention his name, although I was not paying for his personality. He was very smart. He was very bright, and he knew his stuff. And working with our the other medical professionals, we got what we thought was pretty good. So after day one, I thought, oh my God, I've been in this place for 8 hours, and this doctor is driving me nuts because, he starts talking about things I don't know about, the tissue, the adipose fat, things I didn't know about, which were, simply above my pay grade. So after we got out of this thing, I said to my brother, I said, hey, Bill, can you sit in this thing tomorrow? I said, I don't know if I can take this guy another day. He said, nope, you want the super salve. You want the super salve. You got to do this.
Huh?
Yeah, it's on me. So anyhow, working back and forth with these people that, like I say, they're very bright people. But again, we had to keep checking with our chemist, and our chemist sometimes would say, that's not going to mix with this. It's not going to mix with that. But he would throw out suggestions, and the group would either, veto it or agree with it. So after almost 2/3 of a day, we got out of there at 2:00. This doctor, and again, we're very proud of the salve. And again, I don't care about personalities. I was paying people to give us something that would be a mainstay and a staple. So at the end of the day, I got to share this. Around 2:30, 2:00, I don't remember what it was. This was 4 years ago. The doctor, the stick in the mud, he starts laughing. And I thought, oh, brother, I guess I should be the one to ask him, what are we laughing at? And he says to me, this was his joke for a day and 2/3. He says, I'm pretty sure, we if you look at our ingredient list, Aaron, there's a lot of things in this that a lot of things I didn't even know even existed as to being part of anti-inflammatory, skin irritation, all these different things, and muscle, tendons, things that the salve actually works for. Anyhow, the doctor starts laughing. I said, okay, I didn't quite do a "What's up, doc," but I did say, I did say, "What's so funny?" And his little thing was, I'm pretty sure that this salve is going to work whether or not it had CBD in it or not, because we had so many components in it. But that's the story of the salve, and we're very proud of it because it has become Tahoe CBD's, one of our Tahoe CBD's mainstays. This salve, I'm bragging on it, not because I was smart enough to put it together, but I'm bragging on it because we live in South Lake Tahoe, and a couple of our retail stores are located in South Lake Tahoe. We put this product in people's hands, and they go back to whatever walk of life they came from. Understand Tahoe itself is the vacation destination of the world, or one of them. And we put it in their hands, and it goes, I can tell you another story, but I won't, it's too long. But anyhow, we put it in their hands, and they order this stuff from us all day long. And we're proud of it because we took the time to make what we call a super salve that actually works. So that's how it's become. People come in from all walks of life. They pick it up in one of our stores. They go back to wherever they came from. They use it. They tell their friends. That's how our salve has become so popular.
And now you guys have, let me see, you have gummies and tinctures and capsules or a type of pill?
Yeah.
In addition to the salve?
And if
I'm not mistaken, you're kind of an organic guy when it comes
Yeah,
to
yeah,
farming
yeah.
and agriculture.
Yep. We started off initially in the cannabis industry
Hmm.
before we moved over to hemp. We were cannabis farm, and there are certain rules and regulations by the Department of Agriculture
Oh,
through the
don't I
state of
know it?
Oregon. You got to jump through their hoops.
Yeah.
So even though things were a little lighter on the hemp side of things, we had organic practices in place. But let me tell you something else about organic practices in place. So our farm is 100% organic. We don't believe in, and my brother Tom, he's our master grower. He is all over it. And as we're going through our grow cycle, Aaron, our products are checked all the time, and the Department of Agriculture can come in at any moment, and they can walk through our fields and take tests of anything they want. But here's the crazy part. So I've said we're 100% organic. We believe in organic. But it all starts in the soil. No matter, we have to have
Yeah.
our soil tested all the time, and especially before we start a grow, anything can happen. So we treat our soil with a product that is beneficial microbes that go into our soil that eradicate the harmful bacteria, which keeps our plants organic. We're not having to do things to them. It all starts with the soil.
So
And
you're not using chemical fertilizers in.
oh no,
Okay.
not at all.
That's become a big thing in not only just the hemp industry, but the medical marijuana industry is the chemical fertilizers, and that's what a lot of people have concerns about nowadays.
No, not at our farm. We won't have it. We don't need to. Like you say, healthy roots are
Yep.
healthy fruits.
There you
Just
go.
remember that. Healthy roots, healthy fruits.
There
And
you
I don't care
go.
what you're growing. So it all starts in the soil. And but back to organic farming. Here's what we do have as a problem and this is why we're always constantly checking. So our farm is run the way we run it. There could be a farm 4 farms over that are not the same. And
Right.
they throw a little something on theirs and it lands on our crops, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
They water something, the irrigation comes to us, so we're constantly checking it. It's not us, but it could be somebody else not intentionally
Yeah.
trying to disrupt our growth cycle, but it can happen. It's just that simple. So we're constantly checking it. And like I say, we have to go by the guidelines and the bylaws of what the agricultural department wants through the state of Oregon. So we adhere to what they're wanting, and we're happy to adhere to what they're wanting because we want a reputable product when it's all said and done.
Um, tell you guys have a website. It's TahoeCBD.com. People can go there
Yes.
and order off the website, or do they need to call you guys?
Well, we have an option. Some folks aren't comfortable ordering on the website. Quite honestly, I'm an older boy. I want to hear a voice at the other line, but that's just me. The younger generation is more than comfortable with, ordering
There,
off.
yeah, they are.
Well, and they don't like to talk to people. But we offer call us. We'll take your order over the phone. We post our phone number all over the place so people know that it's the real company. But yes, we probably, in theory, prefer that you go to the website and order what you want and get what you done. But, grandma and grandpa out there don't know how to work the internet. We want them to get what they need. So we put a number, for Pacific Standard Time where we have people that answer the telephone. That's simple.
And so people understand the latest farm bill greenlighted UA being able to ship to every state in the United States. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes. Yes. There are some products that are hemp derived THC that we can now get hemp derived THC products through the hemp plant. There are some states that regulate that, which is fine. We understand that. But we do have some hemp derived THC products that we can create from the hemp plant. We get Delta 8 THC. We can get Delta 9 THC actual Delta-9, the same as marijuana, but it's done off of a dry weight. So, and the only product that we carry that are Delta-9 are gummies, because our gummies, the dry weight, we have to make them in a gummy form because of, weights and measures.
Yeah.
But yes, we do carry that. I wanted to bring up something just real quick to you, Aaron, about the CBN products.
Okay.
And I'm going to brag a little bit because I can. CBN products for sleep are they're flying off the shelves. So what we've done, we have two products that we're proud of. We have a product, it's a tincture that goes under your tongue. Mm-hmm. You put it under your tongue with, about half an hour, 20 minutes before you're ready to go to bed. And we call it Sleep Dreams. I don't know if you're able to see this or not, but where am I? Can you see that?
Go up a little higher with it. There you go.
Okay. This is called Sleep Dreams.
Sleep Dreams. Okay.
It's a tincture with CBN. We actually incorporated 1,500 milligrams of CBN with 500 milligrams of full spectrum CBD, which again allows it to work on the receptors of your CB1 and CB2 receptors in your brain. It sends the message, go to bed. You're going to go to sleep. And we have another product that I'm proud of. Same thing. We have the most potent CBN gummy on the market that I know of. We're the farm. We don't have to cut corners. We put 25 milligrams of CBN in this, and we put 25 milligrams of full spectrum CBD in these gummy products, which again, I'm proud of them. We didn't cut the corner. We looked on the internet before we created the product, and we saw 5 milligrams of CBN. We saw 10 milligrams of CBN. We've never seen 25 milligrams of CBN. So for our products, and we're okay if you only take a half of one. It works. Yeah. It's a great product. So being the farm, not having to cut the corner, we're proud of it. That's what we want to do. So
I saw on that little gummy there, you had it was like a berry flavor.
Yeah. Well, we can
do you have
whatever.
other flavors?
Yes. And let me talk about gummies. Yeah, we have two of them. We have a blue raspberry and we have a midnight berry. A midnight berry is kind of a mixed bag of berries. Okay. We got raspberry and we put some grape extract in it. We used, natural products. But let me get back to the gummies. This is important. I want to talk about, and I know you know this, Aaron, I want to talk about gelatin-based, and I want to talk about pectin-based.
Big difference.
I want to say to our viewers, do yourself a favor, and honestly, I didn't know this in the beginning. I'm embarrassed to say, do yourself a favor. We used to use gelatin. I'm a kid. When I was a kid, I ate Jell-O.
Yeah.
If you Google what gelatin is, I promise you will never eat gelatin again.
Oh,
Aaron,
we've done a couple productions on it. It's not a nice thing.
Okay, what do you know about gelatin, Aaron?
Well, they boil joints in different parts of the animals.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
It kind of is a little rebaudiating to me.
Yeah, well, yeah. I didn't know. Like I say, I have certain responsibilities to the farm, but one of them is not total research. But anyhow, we use a pectin base, which is a plant and vegetable base, natural product, and it is just a much better product to put into something that our bodies are consuming. Okay,
one of the things I noticed, because I look around and everything, I get stuff from people all over the country. Your pricing is, I've yet to see. I mean, a lot of websites you go to, they won't list a price. It's you're in the dark kind of. Your pricing is about as reasonable as I've seen anywhere in the country.
Well, what we've done, Aaron, is again, who wants to have to get it's like, who wants to have to haggle over the best price? We don't have coupon codes because we don't need the coupon codes.
Yeah.
We have no middleman. We are the middleman. So I just set the rock bottom prices that we need. We got to still make a living,
Right.
but I know our pricing is the best on the internet. We don't want you to have to go use a coupon code to buy our products. How about if you see our price list on our website, which we list them all, how about you just know that's the best price you're going to get? And we encourage you to go to other websites and look. And by the time you fool with the coupon, this and that, for instance, a 3,000 milligram tincture, we charge $65. We see it all over the internet for 149 plus. Some people, there is no middleman with us, Aaron. We are the middleman. We are the farm. We produce all of our own products. They're all made in a GMP certified lab, of which I am part owner of. So we share the same. I can't even think of it. I can't think of it. The chemist. We all share the same chemist in this true co-op. There's 4 other companies that share the same chemist. Some things are proprietary to them. Some things as a group we share, but our salve, nobody's getting their hands on that formula, and nobody's getting their hands on the way we make it. So that's proprietary.
I got the ingredients. I saw them on the website, and if it's good, we're going to put that in the description so people can see what's in there.
Okay,
because
excellent.
That is, I mean, I was blown away when I saw how many different ingredients were in there, and the fact that they all kind of complement each other in working together with what they do. So we'll definitely put that in the description and your contact information.
I appreciate that. I'm sorry, I kind of lose train of thought sometimes. Each and every one of those ingredients in that salve have been methodically thought out as to what would complement one another. And we even went as far as to putting a little bit of lidocaine in there. Even though lidocaine is not going to cure anything, it's going to give you that temporary relief that you may need until the other ingredients of that salve start working. So upon application, you're going to get some relief. And then the other components that we put into it are going to actually, start doing their jobs. But, you got a sore elbow, you got a sore wrist. Sometimes you want immediate relief. So we took it as far as to actually putting some lidocaine in there as well.
Okay. I guess I'm trying to figure out how to kind of make a disclosure here. CBD doesn't really cure anything, but it does help a lot of different medical ailments. Is that a fair assessment?
That is a fair assessment, but I will say this, and I'm going to throw out something that I'm going to tiptoe around in a minute. CBD is very, very well documented, again, by people way smarter than me, but I don't need people smarter than me. I get customers coming back and back and back and reordering. CBD works very, very well for the same thing that study said out of Jerusalem. It works very, very well for pain, inflammation, sleep, and anxiety. But there's been some other things that have come to light that I'm not going to say is a cure-all, but I want to touch on something that we've had several customers say. I was in our store, a different one of our stores, and I was sitting in the back, and I heard a customer come in, and they were talking about Parkinson's for his father-in-law. And I was listening to my sales associate talk to them, and I heard him talking more and more. So I came out from behind, I could hear, and they were on a video, on a monitor. And I came out, and I don't want to sell somebody on a false promise. I don't need to. But he was talking about something that he had read, excuse me, about Parkinson's disease. I thought, well, okay, I'm just like the guy with the CBN, pretty much the same kind of a story. I don't know everything. I'm learning.
So you're still kind of learning as you're going here.
Well, this whole industry is a fast-paced industry.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve, just like anybody else that has a business. So this gentleman was telling me that he had read something about CBD helping with Parkinson's. So I asked him, can you, show me, he whipped out his phone, and I looked at who the author was of that. And I thought, wow, this is a big time place. I mean, it's a known place across the country. So I read what they had to say, and I thought, wow, this is interesting. So the man asked me, what would I recommend for his father-in-law? I said, I really don't know. This is all new to me. I said, but the capsules that we have that have the nanotechnology, that the CBD particles are microscopic, that they go straight through the liver and don't get filtered out and get into your bloodstream, whereas opposed to something sublingual, goes under your tongue and gets absorbed into the bloodstream. So we got a guy, I didn't want to have, grandpa keep having to get a tincture. So I suggested, not knowing, that he try a capsule twice a day, because we know the half-life typically in a capsule with the nanotechnology is approximately 12 hours. So anyhow, he walked out the door with some, 25 milligram capsules, and that was the end of him. A couple weeks later, he calls, and I'm at the store. I wasn't running the store. I was back doing whatever administrative stuff I do, and the phone rings, and I hearing it's the same guy that was from the Bay Area here in California, and he was wanting to get more. I thought, okay. I said to Justin, Justin, I need to talk to the man when you're done, so let him know. So I get him. He gets on the phone with me, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, and he says, my father-in-law is doing much, much better. Of course, he's not cured, but he's more manageable for the rest of us. I said, great. I'm glad to hear that.
Awesome.
I'm happy to. Yeah. And I'm not touting CBD as a cure-all to Parkinson's. Do not get me wrong. I'm not.
No, yeah,
to do that.
It's kind of like with me. I've developed and I'm like a statistical aberration when it comes to this epilepsy that they've diagnosed me with, because normally epilepsy will show up in a child, in youth. It didn't show up in me until after I was 60.
Yeah.
And it helps maintain me, and I haven't. It's like that example you gave of the girl. I had 172 events in a 12-hour period, and that's when they came in and said, "Hey, would you be willing to try an experimental drug?" Well, what is it, Doc? And when he told me CBD oil, I just started cracking up. And he goes, "What is so funny?" I said, when you guys get done with me, I'm going to go work with the guy that does CBD oil. And I go, my second thing, though, is why is it experimental? And again, and this is where I decided they were no longer the Food and Drug Administration. They're the Federal Dipshit Association. And that's just my opinion. They have classified it as an experimental drug. And
Right.
that just baffled me, because I went from having events. I mean, I was like having an event where my left side was seizing up every 30, 40 minutes. I went from that in one day, in a 24-hour period, I went down to like 5. The next day I had 2, and I haven't had an event since then.
That's great.
And it's like, I have known for years. I first got involved in the anti-marijuana legislation, whatever you want to call it, back in 1972 with a group called Normal. And
Gotcha.
I researched how this all became illegal and what happened. And it was a big political, pardon the phrase, it was a shit show, because you
Right.
had very powerful people involved, drug companies, newspaper people, oil barons and stuff were involved in what was going on to make it illegal. And they basically brainwashed the country into believing that marijuana was a bad thing, because hemp really wasn't the target. It was marijuana
Right.
that was the target that they went after, but hemp was really the target. And they did it in
Right.
the backdoor way. Hemp, there's like 25,000 products that can be made out of hemp.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
it's just, it was one of the, it was like it was a bigger textile crop than cotton was when they went after it. And
Yes, it was.
It's like I said, one of the very, I've been involved in the GMO industry for a very long time. I ended up parlaying what I was doing into a radio show at one time in Reno. But one of the things that I found in my research was Monsanto, the guy, John Queeny, the owner of Monsanto, the founder of that organization, in 1917, he went to the federal government and said, I need you to sue me under the Food Safety Act. Well,
Right.
what do we need to sue you for? You need to sue me for saccharin. That was all I needed to see. I didn't need to read any more to know that this man knew saccharin was a poison of some kind, or he wouldn't have
Right.
asked him to do that. And again, I'm not a legal scholar, but in my humble opinion, when the government bit and sued Monsanto, they sued the wrong people. Monsanto was a company, they made a product. That's what
Right.
you do. You make a product, you sell it. That's capitalism.
Right.
Coca-Cola was the purchaser. That was the first relationship in 1901. So for 16 years, Coca-Cola had been putting poison in their product and distributing it worldwide. Coca-Cola was the person who should have got sued. That was the entity they should have sued, not Monsanto. But when it was done in 1928, John Queeny goes, okay, I'm going to retire. Here you go, son. Take it over. It was about a year later, we got Reefer Madness.
Gotcha.
And that was one of the biggest con games on the American public that I've ever seen because of the way they went about it. And it was hemp that was actually the target. It wasn't marijuana,
Yeah,
really.
that was a backdoor slam.
Yeah.
Before I forget, Aaron, I promised your audience, or promised myself, that I was going to get briefly into the cannabinoid system and what it is.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
No, that is a kind of a fascinating subject.
It is. Again, we've always had a cannabinoid system within our bodies. It has nothing to do with the play on the cannabinoids associated with the hemp plant. But our endocannabinoid system that we all have, sometimes it's referred to as ECS. But our endocannabinoid system play a very important part within our nervous system, again, that work on our CB1 and CB2 receptors in our brain. And what it actually helps to mediate is our learning, our memory, our appetite, our reaction to pain, a pain sensation, our moods, our anxieties, our sleep, and our inflammation. What I like to say about CBD and the endocannabinoid system is this. CBD sort of acts like a multivitamin, as what a multivitamin would do for our body. CBD works as you could call it a multivitamin to help balance out our bodies within our cannabinoid system. So all these cannabinoids that we're taking through the CBD helps balance our system within our cannabinoid system within our bodies. So I just didn't want to forget that part. So when you hear people referring to the endocannabinoid system, that's what we're talking about. That's what it is.
So it sounds like our body is, how do I say it, kind of receptive to the cannabinoids because they're an organic natural product and not a pharmaceutical product.
No, the CBD is replenishing our natural cannabinoids within our body. And the fact that now we're playing with 140 knowing them, we don't know where you're up or down because there's no gauge for it. So I like to look at CBD as an overall multivitamin but it's not a vitamin. They're cannabinoids that replenish our own cannabinoids within our own endocannabinoid system. Does that make sense, Aaron?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Well, at least to me, it does. I hope it does to the audience out there, because this has definitely been a fascinating conversation, and I sincerely appreciate your time tonight. I know the listeners will too. Again, TahoeCBD.com. They
Yes.
can get a hold of you there. Phone numbers are on the website. We're going to
Yes.
link all
Yes.
this. Will be in the description, and we'll stick the ingredients to your salve there, that topical salve,
Please
in the
do.
description also. Because I just when I was going through that, I was like, wow. I mean, it was like it kind of looked like you guys put a big gigantic jigsaw puzzle together.
Well,
With all the different ingredients. What is there, like 12, 13 different ingredients in that?
I believe there's 13 on top of, and now understand, it's full spectrum CBD that we were able to do because of our chemist.
Right.
Normally, most salves on the market are isolate CBD.
Okay.
9 out of 10 of them are isolate. The chemist that we utilize, he's got it figured out, and he made it so we could put all those components together with a full spectrum CBD. And now we've talked about the difference in full
Right.
spectrum, broad spectrum, and isolate. This is made with an actual full spectrum CBD.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Dynamite. We'll put that together, and I'll be sure to get this over to you. Where can people find you out there in Cyberland?
You mean as far as our websites?
Yeah, that's TahoeCBD.com. You're on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere like that?
Yeah, we're on Facebook and we're on Twitter, and I'll have to talk to my guy. He's working on them right now. In
Okay.
fact, we were over at my Pioneer office working on them, so I'll have to go and check with him
Okay.
and see where exactly we are with all that. But anyhow,
But at
and
least
we have,
people can find Tahoe CBD on Facebook. I know
yes, they can.
a lot of
Yes, they
people are
can.
there, and we get our information, our productions posted over there too. So, and we'll be sure to
Okay.
get you a copy so you can post it on the page.
Okay, I appreciate it, Aaron. And again, we're not just limited to salves and CBN and gummies. We have tinctures. If you go to our website,
One of the
we
things
have.
I see behind your head there, it says Pet Vet. You guys have for
Oh,
pets?
yes. Yeah. And that's my dog, Captain, right there.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah, Captain, he hangs around the office all the time. But CBD for pets, yes, we carry CBD for pets. Pets have an endocannabinoid system the same as we do. And
Wow.
we are extremely proud. Just real quick, again, we are the middleman. We offer a tincture that's 1,500 milligrams of CBD. We also offer it, and we have a 750 milligram one. Go find those that strength anywhere out there. But the advantage is, one, more CBD, the better. But if you don't need as much, you can use less of it and last longer. We have a 1,500 milligram CBD tincture. We have the capsules as well, but we offer it in a bacon flavor. We offer it in chicken. We offer it natural. One of your animals, my dog, Captain, he comes right up and licks it out of there. He's got anxiety problems. Well, I live up in Lake Tahoe, and we have blasting and we have avalanche control, and he
Bears.
freaks out. Yeah, and bears. He handles the bears. He's pretty good at that. But he'll come running when he's stressed out, and I just put the dropper down and squirt it right in, and then within 10 minutes, he's calmed down.
That's
But
great.
it works for as your dogs get older,
Yeah.
they get into their golden years, they have pain. It's good for joint pain, inflammation, sleep, and anxiety. There you are. Same thing with the dog. But
Cool.
yes, we have pet CBD, and we're proud of our strengths that we put out at minimal cost.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's one thing I haven't seen other CBD companies do is a pet product. You're the only one I've seen do that. So that is a great piece of work. I don't know what to say. That's awesome.
Thank you, Aaron. But we, like I say, we have an array of products. If you go to our website, we put on there on our website, no coupon needed, because we have the lowest prices in the USA. Again, there is no middleman, and we have our own chemist. So I don't need to sub this out and sub that out. We just want to give our end users the best product they can get at the best prices that we can afford to sell them for. I mean, understand, we got to make a profit.
Right.
But we have rock bottom prices with top quality products. That's our motto.
Awesome. So we'll close this out here. And on behalf of Alliday Mobile Media, to all our military personnel, thank you for your service. Let's have a great day, folks. Let's all be safe out there. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks a lot, Aaron. I appreciate you having me.
Okay, we'll see you later.